1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. I'm Justin, and I'm here in studio with my sidekick, Executive Assistant Jennifer.
Good afternoon.
And you can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. We are really excited to be with you today, and we're glad that you've tuned in to listen to the show. We've got some very interesting topics to cover. We've got some news and views we're going to cover towards the second half of the hour. And, we're going to talk about decluttering your life. If you think about it, clutter can take over your life, and you may be feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Is your space or life so cluttered it's hard to breathe because of the overload of papers? And, and that can happen to me. And, of course, maybe you want to sell your house for top dollar, or even stay in it and create a sanctuary. Sometimes we amass over time things in our house that we really don't need every year or even every 10 years, and we might want to think about decluttering. Then, you're really going to want to stay tuned to hear what Sue Crum has to say, what she's going to show you, and how you can cut chaos, clear up your priorities, and get that life balance that you've always wanted. So important. You want to have a stress-free retirement. You want to have a stress-free life, even now, of course, because we're gonna live in retirement, and we want to enjoy that retirement. We want to enjoy our lives today as well. Mm-hmm. Just a little bit about myself again. For those of you that are not aware, I'm a graduate of the University of Texas here at Austin, a degree in finance from the McCombs School of Business. I'm a certified financial planner professional, a chartered financial consultant, and a retirement income certified professional. And I'm the president of Fort Wealth Management. I work with clients here, families, and individuals here in Austin, the greater Austin area, during the week. And really work with folks, trying to help them understand what they've got, what their options are, produce plans that help them and their families achieve the goals that they've got. And, the first thing that I do as a planner is try to assess what's going on. It's very difficult for you to understand, or for me to understand, what your options really are, what risks you're taking, how your retirement's going to look if there's just a lot of clutter. And if we don't understand really what you've got, where it is, you may have a shoebox full of documents, or you may be one of those types that have everything, figured out in a binder. You've got an Excel spreadsheet, and you're on top of your game. Well, either way, simplifying and clarifying is the first step in the financial planning process, in my opinion. We need to assess first and understand where you are, what you've got, and then look at those things that are important to you and your family, what you want to do. And remember, as a true financial planner professional, I take the approach of not having an agenda when you sit down and visit with me, in the office, when I work with my clients, and I ask that you don't have an agenda when it comes to how to get the things that you want in your life, but rather let's focus on what you want, how to get you there, and let's take a look at what you've got to work with. And anyways, we are going to be talking a little bit later in our news and views segment about the U.S. economic data that's come out this last week. We're going to talk about Greece and the issues there, how that may or may not impact you. We're going to talk about the Federal Reserve and what that means for the U.S. stock market. We're going to talk about some of those things that are really important to you. So, Jennifer, could you explain who our guest is today?
Yes, Sue Crum, founder and owner of the Red Team, specializing in interior design and staging homes, author of Clear Your Clutter, 50 Ways to Organize Your Life, Home, or Business so you can become more calm, focused, and happy. Past president of National Association of Profession Organizers in San Diego, accredited staging professional, frequent guest on shows like Mary Lou Henner and others.
Awesome. Sue, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Justin and Jennifer.
We're
Great
excited
to be on the show.
We're excited to have you. Yes. We're excited to hear ways that we can all declutter our lives. I know I can use it. All of us can simplify what we're doing, and so we're going to talk about that today. So just before we go to our break here, can you just give us a little insight into how you got into this decluttering space?
Right. Well, I love the name of your program, Retirement Journey, and I think we're always on a journey in our life, whether it's retirement or changing jobs or changing careers. This is our journey. And I was on a journey living in one city, and my mother was about 100 miles away. and I needed to get closer to where she was because I needed to give her some assistance and help. And I found I was selling a house, buying another house, moving. I call it not downsizing, I call it right-sizing. So getting rid of the big house and launching the darling daughter and taking a look at my stuff. And I didn't even know the term staging at the time, but I fixed up the house so when the realtor put it up for market, it really looked good. You know, it was kind of like, gee, why hadn't I done that years ago, you know, when I moved in? But then when I moved 100 miles to be closer to my mother, and I found out, boy, it was all about the environment and how you feel in your space, whether it's a small space of 500 square feet or whether it's a big space of 5,000 square feet. We really have to take a look at our environments because they have such a strong impact on our life. And I found that launching the darling daughter and she getting her own place, there I was in another environment. And then after my mother passed away, gosh, she didn't take all her stuff with her when she left. And there I was with some stuff, more stuff. And it was, okay, now what am I going to do with this stuff? And I found myself gravitating to interior redesign and using what people already had, repurposing furniture and taking a look at, oh, well, gee, that, even though that lived in that room, it could really live over in this room. And really, I don't need this particular piece of furniture. So I started what I call releasing to the universe things that I didn't need and things that no longer were going to serve me. And during my journey in interior redesign and staging of homes, staging primarily homes to sell, I found out everybody's got stuff. You know, you think you don't until you go to move. And so my company has done several moves where we've packed people up and moved them and then unpacked them. And everybody's got stuff. So I say, are you moving in, moving out, or just moving your stuff around?
And that's Sue
But I also
Crum.
help people with other kinds of clutter besides physical.
Right, and Sue, we're gonna talk to you about downsizing and right sizing, what that means. We're gonna talk a little bit about the physical, emotional, and financial consequences of clutter when we get back from the break. And again, that's Sue Crum, author of Clear Your Clutter: 50 Ways to Organize Your Life, Home, or Business so you can become more calm, focused, and happy. You can call us at 512-390-1370 or send us questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. This is Justin Fort. The show is Retirement Journey, and this is Talk 1370. Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. You can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. We're visiting with Sue Crum, author of Clear Your Clutter: 50 Ways to Organize Your Life, Home, or Business so you can become more calm, focused, and happy. We're talking about decluttering your life so that you can enjoy your life more, have less stress, and really know what you've got, what's important to you, and achieve your goals better.
And Sue, right before the break, I know that you mentioned a little bit about the downsizing and right-sizing. What's the difference between them?
Well, I think when people use the term downsizing, it's kind of like a downer. It's like, well, I'm on the bottom half of the hill, or I'm getting down to the bottom. And to me, it's a depressing term in that, well, you know, we're downsizing. It just has kind of a downer feel to it. And what I like to use is the term right-sizing for the right chapter that you're in right now. So for some folks in retirement, they are changing the amount of square footage that maybe they were living in when they had a house full of little people who then got bigger and maybe hopefully launched and moved out. And so it's really finding that right environment, that right home for the chapter in the life that we're in right now. So I think for your listeners, think of it as in terms of the right size fit. So it's kind of like back to, what was it, Goldilocks and the Three Bears trying on the different chairs. So she got the one that just fit right. So right sizing has more of a positive feel to it. It's the right size for right now.
Yeah, sometimes it's important to use the appropriate phraseology to really encourage all of us to do the proper thing. I almost said right thing, but again, right sizing is kind of like saying the proper thing, right? It may not be necessarily getting things smaller, but rather just getting things to be correct, appropriate, right?
Mm-hmm. And exactly as much home or house as one can handle. So I'm sure some of your listeners may have lost a spouse, and maybe now the house or condo or apartment feels really empty without that other person. And so at some point they may look at their own space and say, this just doesn't feel right anymore.
Right. And
getting to that right space.
And Sue, you're absolutely correct. I hear a lot of people that my clients I visit with talking about how their home, they're going to, they call it downsizing, but really what they're going to do is they're going to move to a home that's more appropriate for aging. Maybe they want that one-story house. They want a home that's going to be maybe on a flat level rather than up on top of a hill or something, just because they're preparing to live there for the rest of their retirement. And that's the right thing to do in many cases.
Yes, and then some of your listeners may be moving into retirement communities where they're looking at a different lifestyle of activities and things like that, or they're going to move to be closer to their children and grandchildren. So it does become a right fit, and I think that's an important term for them to kind of zero in on and listen to.
And I think, Sue, correct me if you're wrong, really your focus is to try to help people understand what's important to them, what they're really trying to do with their lives, and then help them understand how they can drop a lot of this baggage, a lot of this clutter that just seems to kind of get in the way of their hopes and dreams.
Yes. Well, Justin, I love that your show is about health, wealth, and freedom to live your way, or I think it's what you said in the introduction, but that health, wealth, and freedom. Our physical clutter, our physical stuff can weigh us down, and I talk about it being like visual noise when you walk into a space. And if it's really packed vertically all the way to the ceiling, you feel the furniture. It's just like it starts closing in on us. And so it's really important to say, it's only stuff. And I can start to let go of some of that, because the more stuff we have, the more things we have to dust, the more things we have to take care of, maintain, keep clean, know where they are. And sometimes there's a real good freedom in starting to let go. And some of your listeners might be looking at some of the things that they have that maybe they want to sell, and that would give them some additional income, or donate to their favorite charity. And that just really feels good when you know where items are going, or to people who are in need.
And that's Sue Crum, author of Clear Your Clutter, 50 Ways to Organize Your Life, Home, or Business so you can become more calm, focused, and happy. Oh, and by the way, we did not mention that we are, in fact, giving away her book. And so if you'd like to give us a call or send us an email, we're going to get you a copy of Sue Crum's book. It's a great read, very helpful, and maybe it can help you get your life a little bit better on track for the way you want to be living the rest of your life, so that you can have that freedom. And again, this show is all about that. This is the retirement journey, of course, with me, Justin Fort, and this is all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way all the way. So we want to make sure that you're doing all of those things necessary to maintain your happiness and keep your stress level low. And then, that may ensure a longer life, a better life, higher quality. In the end, that's really what matters. When we talk about money, we talk about using accounts, we talk about income planning. Really, the purpose of all of that is so that you can have the retirement of your dreams. And we want you to have access to some of these great people like Sue Crum. And you can visit her on SueCrum.com, SueCrum.com, and read some more about her. So, Sue, is there a common trait among people who are cluttered and disorganized? Have you found that to be the case?
Oh, gosh. A common trait is often that I hear is folks will say, well, I've always been disorganized, or my mother always said I never knew where anything was, or my husband always said I was scattered. And they play this negative mindset tape over and over again. And I say, well, up until now. And it's when they want to take back control. People start to feel out of control when they can't find things and they have to go and buy another one because they don't know where the other one is. Or they can't find the important papers, let's say, for a meeting with you, Justin. Or they just don't know, their calendar is so packed, even though they're retired, they're maybe packed with so many committees and organizations that they miss meetings and miss appointments and miss connecting with the ones that they really want to connect with because they're just more frazzled. And I hear people say to me when they call, they'll say, do you help people on overwhelm or overload? That's kind of a common trait. And I help people virtually from all over the country. I don't have to be in their space to help them start to declutter their life and their home and their business. I can help them over the phone.
That's very good to know, Sue. And hopefully, if you're listening and you need some assistance with decluttering your life, you'll reach out to Sue or even another professional to try to get some help. For most of the folks out there that I visit with, it may be somewhat common things that are cluttering their lives. And really, because I'm a financial planner, I'm mostly seeing the clutter that exists around the paperwork, the accounts, and, I think I have another life insurance policy over here, but I can't remember the name of the company. And I'm pretty sure that I invested some money into this brokerage account, but I'm not sure if it's mutual funds or if it's money market. I'm not sure, or maybe it's CDs. And they may have, in some cases, 3 or 4 bank accounts. And what we know, Sue, from research is that as all of us age, which all of us are doing every day, today I'm older than I was yesterday, we begin to see cognitive impairments become more and more of an issue, especially with longer life, longevity, right? And the way I work with our clients there at Fort Wealth Management, I want things to be in a position so they're as simple as possible, as clear as possible, and we have a plan that they can stick to so that as those things happen, the financial situation isn't going to be a clutter in their life or a stumbling block for them to be able to do the things they want to do, like visit with grandchildren or give back to the community, and just really have a much more vibrant, successful, enjoyable retirement.
Right, because you want to lower that stress for them and, help them with that freedom, because lowering that stress by helping them get their proper papers together gives them a sense that they are in charge of their life.
And Sue, we're going to go to break here in just a minute. When we get back, we're going to talk about imaginary deadlines, some things from your book. I love some of these quotes. And really quick, before we do go to break, I just want to read a quote from your book. The real truth is that there is only one person responsible for the quality of the life you live. That person is, guess who? You. That's Jack Canfield. Great quote. I love, and almost every page here, every chapter's got some of these great quotes. Another one real quick. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Lewis Carroll. That's a fantastic quote. As a planner, that means everything. We want to know where we're going so we can chart the course and we can achieve our destination. So again, this is Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. We'll be back in a minute.
A singer in a smoky room, a smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the
Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. You can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. Is clutter taking over your life? Are you feeling overwhelmed and stressed? Is your space or life so cluttered it's hard to breathe because of the overload of paperwork? I understand the feeling. I have to fight that every day myself. And being organized is bringing clarity and lowering stress, just plain and simple. We're visiting with Sue Crum, author of Clear Your Clutter, 50 Ways to Organize Your Life, Home, or Business so you can become more calm, focused, and happy. And Sue, I read from your book, there was this idea of setting imaginary deadlines for ourselves, and I completely agree. Can you just explain to us what that means and why that's important?
Sure. So I have a chapter in the book called Deadlines Are Delicious, and I really think that is just so true. And if you think about, well, you're dealing with financial papers, so you think about the April 15th tax deadline that many people have. And if the government just said to us, well, when you get around to it, will you just kind of give us an update on your finances? How many of us would actually go and send them an update or send them some money and ask, do you have all the papers now that you need, or ask for a refund?
Nobody.
So none of us would get around to that at all. And my other example in the book is about Thanksgiving, and the holiday that was created and signed into law by President Abraham Lincoln. And it was, the fourth Thursday in the month of November, getting together with family and friends who really mean something and being thankful and grateful for the blessings of the year. How many of us would actually be able to get our relatives together or our dear friends and just say, oh, we ought to get together? And somebody would say, oh, well, I'm busy next week. How about the following week? And it would never, ever, ever happen like it does for us for the fourth Thursday in Thanksgiving. So we have to set our own little deadlines. And I like my clients to work with a timer. I say timers are terrific. So it can be a short deadline, like what you want to get accomplished for that day or that morning. Give yourself some blocks of time. And we're living in an age of distraction. We distract ourselves, and we wait for somebody else to distract us with a phone call, a text message, a Facebook post. We distract. We think the cat's hungry, the dog needs a walk, because we don't stay focused. So I think we have to set our own little fun deadlines and just kind of say, well, I'm going to go meet friends for dinner, but I'm going to get this done first. And then if it means putting the cell phone under the pillow or in the refrigerator, just kind of staying focused. We've lost our ability to focus on one task at a time.
Oh, so life throws so much at us. Mm-hmm. We get phone calls from, solicitors. We get, mail from all over the place. And we've got bills to pay. We've got concerns of relatives. All kinds of things are getting in the way often. And I know a number of my clients, and I'm not so great at this, but some people will find the time every day to meditate or to worship or something, and that can bring some ease to the clutter and kind of clarify what they're trying to do. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. And you can call us at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. And if this is touching a heartstring with you, if you feel like your financial situation is cluttered, we want you to visit with us there at Fort Wealth Management during the week. You can call our office line at 512-433-6492 to set an appointment with us. You can sit down and visit with me. We can take a look at all of the things that you've got going on and see if we can find a way to simplify and, understand what you're doing and potentially improve what you're doing just by being able to understand where everything is and why those things are where they are. And if they're not supposed to be where they are, then we need to make some changes, right? Well, same thing with everything else in life. We're talking with Sue Crum, author of Clear Your Clutter, 50 Ways to Organize Your Life, Home, or Business so you can become more calm, focused, and happy. And we are giving away copies of Sue Crum's book. It's a great read. I would highly recommend that you pick up a copy. You can give us a call at the office or send us an email, and we'll try to get a copy over to you. Now, Sue.
May I
Sure.
just make a comment about that, Justin?
Yes.
Sometimes when people hear the subtitle, they go, oh, my gosh, 50 ways. I don't want 50 ways. I just want a couple of ways. And so what I would say, the book is a book you don't have to read cover to cover. You look at the table of contents. 20 chapters on home, 20 on life, and 10 on business. And we're all in some kind of business, whether it's the business of getting paperwork together for financial planners or IRS, that's still business.
Great point.
And you just pick the chapters that talk to you. And I have a free ebook for your listeners, and I can tell you about that during our interview.
Sure. The book is a great read. You can kind of piecemeal through just parts that you're really interested in, and every part of this book has I think something for everyone. What would you say, Sue? Comparing clutter in your life versus home and business, is there a difference?
Well, I'll tell you, the number one thing that people say is the most clutter for them is paper. Whether it's a business that they're running, investments that they're getting organized for, or it's paperwork in the home. And what's happened is what was supposed to be the paperless society, I think they started talking about that back in the 1970s. And now we all have more paper than ever. Oh. And we all have home offices of some kind, even if it's the dining room table or the kitchen table. And we're running what I call Staples Center annexes from our own home. We've got printers and computers and modems and cartridges and toners and reams of paper, and we've got these little office centers going on, and it's brought in so much more clutter that people never had in their homes years ago. Nobody ever thought about it. But now we get jokes from people we went to high school with, and we go, well, that's kind of cute. I think I'll print that out, or because I want to make sure I don't lose it. Mm-hmm. So we're into almost a printing frenzy for some of us, not everybody, but it's created a lot more paper. So I think it's important for people to take a look at, is the paper just eating you alive? Because I have some great tips in the book about paper, about how to build rafts if you're really drowning in paper. We won't have to go into that specifically right now, but it's just kind of it's an acronym that I came up with on what to do if you're drowning in paper. Because paper seems to be the number one thing that people are most feeling overwhelmed about, unless they're in the process of moving, and then it's everything they're feeling overwhelmed about that.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about reasons people are cluttered. Now let's talk about how to dig out. How do you start to declutter your life, your home, your work?
Yes. My free ebook, which is at SueCrum.com, SueCrum.com, has great places to start. There's in the right-hand corner, simple strategies for clutter clearing you can do now. So those are some tips that your listeners can put into place right today while they're listening to the show. And I have a top 10 favorites list in there. So one of the things that I say on the top 10 favorites list is you have to weed constantly. If we think about our environments, even our mental environment and our emotional environment, along with our physical environment, for any gardeners that are listening to the show, your garden looks great because you are weeding constantly. So think of the inside of your home as a garden. You have to keep weeding constantly. We have to be, it's like slaying dragons. We have to stay up on this and keep the stuff out of the house, out of the home. Keep it moving, whatever the it is for you. So one way is you stop the stuff from coming in and you get off these lists. You can go to catalogchoice.org, I believe it is, and get off of catalog lists of catalogs. You're getting catalogs for catalogs you've never shopped in those stores or ordered from them. Your name has been sold to other places. So if you're getting so much junk mail that you're seeing it all coming in, you want to stop it from coming in. Then you want to look at what actually is coming in and then just kind of like assess, what do I really need here? And you have to separate the junk from the really goodies. Nobody sends a nice thank you note in handwriting anymore. Everybody thinks it can be done with, with send out cards or an email note or a text message. Thanks, dinner was great. Mm-hmm. But we've lost that art. And so we want to find those jewels in our inbox of mail. Has anybody actually written us a note and said, gosh, it was great seeing you last week. We had so much fun at the dinner and the show. So we want to hang on to those. Another one in my top 10 favorites is start small. And that may seem not like the right place to start for some of your listeners who are like just staring at too much stuff. But we have to start small. And by that I mean start with your wallet. Start with a purse, ladies. Start with the back of the car. Start with the trunk of the car. Start with the glove compartment. And just be happy with that for a day or two or three, and then move on to something else, like a junk drawer in the kitchen or a medicine cabinet, and take a look at that. And for women, take a look at the makeup. If you can't remember when you bought it, it's probably time to release that to the universe and get some new. So start small, and what that's going to do, it's going to build muscle memory, and you're going to go, "Whoa, this looks pretty good. This space looks, this drawer looks kind of good." And every time you open it, you're going to have a good positive feeling, and your endorphins are just going to go, "Woo, this looks good." And it's going to motivate you to go further and try another space. And in my free ebook, I give other tips for closets, for travel. Let's see, what's another one? I say start a gratitude journal. Justin, you mentioned meditation, and I'm one of the assistants on Jack Canfield's team when he does his multi-day presentations. And Jack Canfield, some of your listeners may know him, the name sounds familiar, co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series and author of The Success Principles. The new 10th edition just came out this year, and he was a star in the movie The Secret. And he's a big proponent of meditation, and I'm learning from Jack, you don't have to sit in the lotus position half a day and go, and expect everything to disappear and get organized, but you just kind of take those quiet moments and just get still and just kind of listen to your breathing. That's a good place to start. It'll clear your head and clear some of that, what I call clatter chatter in your brain.
And that's Sue Crum, author of Clear Your Clutter. And you're listening to The Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. You can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. And we have Richard on the line as a question from Buda, Texas. Hi, Richard. How you doing?
Hey, doing good, Justin. Here's the thing. Is it okay to ask a financial question?
Of course.
So all this talk about clutter makes me think I don't want to say I've been a job hopper, but I've gone from opportunity to opportunity, and I've got 4 401ks and 3 IRAs, and I don't even want to open the statements anymore. It's like opening and looking at a closet. Now it's all messed up, like Sue's been talking about, but they're all doing okay, I guess. I mean, they're not going backwards at this point anyway. But does it make sense to try to sweep them all together into one box, or what do you think?
Well, Richard, how old are you now?
59.
59. So you may be retiring when?
Oh, hell, I don't know. I just work and try to save, and I like what I do, and I always thought 65 sounded okay. It sounds okay.
Yeah, well, it sounds to me that you're a little worried about the fact that you have these accounts. You said that you don't want to even open up the statements. You don't want to see them.
It's the clutter.
Yeah, and
clutter is bothering me, and I mean there's a little over $1 million altogether, and that's fine, I guess. I also have a couple of pensions that I'm vested in that aren't going to amount to a whole lot. I don't live real high, but I just don't like clutter. My garage is neat as a pin. My house is neat. My wife and I keep everything straight, and this is the clutter place in my life, and I don't like it. But I don't know what I'm allowed to do.
Well, Richard, your situation, it's difficult to give advice over the radio. Because that's really not what we want to do over the radio. But I can more than likely get in touch with you. We can get your phone number from our board op there, and I can give you a call after the show, and we can talk a little bit more about your situation. But of course, you can do what you want to have done. It's a free country, so if you want to declutter your situation, consolidate accounts, if it makes sense for you, if it's what you want to do, of course we can help you achieve that goal. And of course, maybe you might want to also look at an overall plan, what your money's invested in, what kind of risk to reward ratio you're getting, all those things, especially if you haven't taken a look in some time. So you don't have to do those things. That's why you go to a professional like us there at Fort Wealth Management. So Richard, we thank you for your call. And stay on the line there, and we can get your information, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you after the show.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Take care. Well, you're listening to The Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way. We're going to go to break now. When we get back, we're going to have a final few topics to go over with Sue Crum as to how you can declutter your life. And again, this is Justin, Retirement Journey, Talk 1370. This is Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. You can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. We're visiting with Sue Crum, author of Clear Your Clutter. We're talking about how to declutter your life, home, and business so you can enjoy a happy, calm, organized, and stress-free life. Who wouldn't want that? I don't know. It's the beginning of summer, as you probably noticed. If you look out your window or go outside, we've got some beautiful weather. And I know that we've been planning some vacations, obviously. I know you probably have. And, you're probably looking for maybe some tips for getting organized before heading out and staying organized after getting back. Sue, can you just give us a couple of tips?
Well, I think what happens on trips is we get away and everything is kind of hopefully perfect. But then we might schedule our return like just a little too close to maybe going back to work or with commitments that following morning. And what often happens is that suitcase or suitcases just sit there and they sit still full. And what's important while you're on the vacation is just kind of think about, the laundry bag, starting the laundry bag, right while you're on the trip. And if you can do laundry while you're on the vacation and you're coming back home to clean laundry, that's a good starter, because it's kind of depressing when it was terrific. We were away for a long time. We maybe went to lots of restaurants. Now we come back to the real life of living. So it's good to kind of picture, can you bring along something so all the laundry just goes right into the laundry room or right next to the washer as soon as you return, and you don't have to kind of go digging around and finding it.
Oh, after a long trip, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to put your feet up. You sat on the plane for who knows how long or drove in the car for what felt probably like days. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, you have to schedule that time. And I say the faster you can get that suitcase emptied, the more you can start to take back your space in your bedroom. Because when it sits out for a week or two, we start just turning it upside down and rummaging around going, well, now where's that belt? Or where's that other shoe? So it's that unsettledness when we travel. It's all in a container, but now it comes back and it's in our home. So if you can unpack quickly and just kind of feel more settled and more grounded, that's another thing to do right away as soon as you return. And while you're traveling, take a look at, how many outfits do you really need, and look at just combining things. So work with one color scheme so you're not packing half your closet. Work with just a color scheme and intersperse tops and bottoms, and just, wear dark pants on the bottom or white if you're traveling like to a beach area, and then just intersperse the tops. And nobody's going to notice what you're wearing primarily from the waist down, but they're going to notice what you're wearing up above. And so that's an easy way to just pack smaller than maybe you've been packing in the past. And
Sue, a great metaphor for traveling and packing bags, as you're talking about, in my opinion, is packing for retirement. We've got to know where you're going. Obviously, if you're going to take shorts, or do you need to take jackets, right? And when you go on a trip, we know that the average person spends about two weeks to plan for a week-long vacation or something like that, and most people spend less than a week planning for a 30-year retirement, and that has got to change, in my opinion. And you want to make sure that you pack your bags so that you don't get dinged from overweight bags, right, when we travel on airplanes.
Right.
Well, same metaphor applies with retirement planning. We don't want to pack more than what we need, and try to be as light and efficient as we possibly can, so that we have a great journey, and we are not spending more on one thing or spending less on another thing, and really not getting dinged more in taxes than is necessary. So a great metaphor there for traveling. Retirement is a journey. You're going somewhere, whether you like it or not. And if you don't know where it is that you're going, life's going to take you somewhere. And we want to make sure that you are aware that you can take charge, you can take control. My job as a financial planner during the week is to help you understand how to do what you're trying to do and do it better. And so we may want to clarify what it is that you're actually trying to do, what you are actually concerned about, and make sure that your financial bags are packed properly, and not with more than you need or not with less, but the right stuff. You don't just want to bring all shorts, missing shirts. Or if you're going to a cold climate, you don't want to just go with shorts. You want to have some jackets in there. So same idea with retirement planning. And Sue, we want to thank you so much for being on Retirement Journey with us today. Your wisdom is enlightening and helpful. You're doing great work there. And again, you can visit Sue's website at suecrum.com. And do you have any parting shots, Sue?
Well, the free ebook is there. It has a lot of great tips, and especially there's 50 great tips, and then there's also additional if you're moving. People can follow me at facebook.com, Clear Your Clutter Coach. And I'd like to offer your first 10 listeners who send me an email at sue@suecrum.com, I would offer them a free 30-minute strategy session on how to get back in charge of your life.
Nice.
So you can clear your clutter. So for the first 10 people that send me an email at sue@suecrum.com, and they put in the subject line, free strategy session, please, or free strategy session, whichever works, I'll be happy to schedule that with them and kind of talk through strategies to get them going. But the ebook is Simple Strategies for Clutter Clearing You Can Do Now, and your listeners can download that right away.
Wow, what a great offer, Sue. And we hope that you take advantage of it, and take advantage of giving us a call as well to get your retirement in the right place. But we've got to make sure that you're free of clutter. So take up Sue's offer there, that 30-minute declutter consultation. And again, that's sue@suecrum.com. You can send her an email, and she'll get back to you on that. So again, Sue, we hope that you will find it in your heart to be back on the show sometime in the future.
Great.
We really enjoyed it, and thank you so much again.
Yes, thank you.
Great, and you have one of my books to give to one of your listeners as well, correct?
Absolutely, and we've had a couple of calls already, so
great. Thanks.
We will be giving it out.
So much.
Okay,
Perfect.
Take care, Sue.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, if that didn't really touch your heartstring in terms of getting things decluttered and simplified in your life, if it's not relevant to you, I don't know what is. It seems like some people are naturally neat and tidy, and others are less so. I see it all the time in my work. People come in with file folders and are labeled, and others have an old shoebox or something that's just full of stuff, or even cartons of stuff. And sometimes I feel like a detective trying to go through, is this count still alive? Is that count not? Well, how much is here? Oh, that's a statement from 2010. So we need to get up-to-date statements. We need to make sure that you're aware of what you've got, so that, and we have to be aware of what you've got, so that we can put together a plan that works for you, and also review a plan that you may have in place already. Because the goal at Fort Wealth Management is to help you do what you're trying to do, but do it better. And the only way we're going to find out how to do that is really to take a look at what you've got, help you understand it, so we're all on the same page. That's our starting point. That's where we are. And then, just like the analogy we talked about, traveling, we want to look into where it is that you want to go with your money, where it is that you want to go with your retirement. Do you want to have the ability to gift and spend and not run out of money throughout your lifetime, or do you want to leave a really big legacy at the end of life? Are we concerned about longevity? How's your health? All of these things. We want to make sure that your financial bags are packed appropriately to your needs, with the clothes that match your size. You may have someone else's clothes, if you think about it, in your bags. In some cases, I find folks that, just last week I had a couple come in. They said, well, I've got, kind of like our caller today. We've got 5 different accounts. 4 of them are joint accounts, and we're not really sure why there's 4 separate joint accounts, and we're not really sure which account has what inside of there. And we're not sure if this is the right kind of risk that we're supposed to be at. And so, I sat down with them. I asked them a couple of questions, how they feel about risk. and how they feel about income planning and how reliable they wanted their income to be, what their income need was. Once I got a good picture of that, we went through those statements and we found out that really it seemed to be that they had someone else's accounts almost, right? I mean, they really didn't, but those accounts that they were holding weren't really so appropriate to what they were trying to do. Those tools in that bag, in that retirement bag, were really appropriate maybe for someone else, just not them at this particular point. So showing that to them, they were just really relieved to see that we finally took a look at what they really weren't not taking a look at, and help them put together a plan so that they can get from A to B with the right bags packed. So we're going to be back. We're going to, from this break, we're going to talk a little bit about Greece, the Federal Reserve, and in our News and Views segment. And again, this is Justin, Retirement Journey, Talk 1370.
Carefully to the side of your loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad. In the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost.
Talk 1370, you're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, and we are going to be talking in our News and Views segment here about Greece and the Federal Reserve. Wall Street, and this comes from MSN.com, U.S. Money section, by the way, written by Spencer Platt, really just a few hours ago, entitled U.S. Stocks Go Sideways as Market Eyes Greece and Fed. Wall Street stocks chugged through a week light on U.S. economic data and heavy on anticipation of news on Greece and U.S. Federal Reserve. And investors are still concerned about the very high valuations, worried about when the Fed will be raising rates, and they're concerned about what will transpire regarding Greece. And I'm sure you're concerned about rate hikes and things like that, as far they're going to impact your investment portfolio and the stocks that you own. The week ended on a sour note as Eurozone officials confirmed conducting worst-case scenarios based on a Greek default, while the IMF walked away from talks, saying the Greeks were being unreasonable. Greece faces a $1.6 billion euro payment to the IMF at the end of the month and must persuade investors to unlock 7.2 billion euros in the international bailout funds. So this is a bit of an issue. It's a bit of a problem. The markets are watching, and when the S&P 500 gets over 2,100, it reaches a very stubborn wall. Institutional investors dig in their heels, says Hugh Johnson of Hugh Johnson Advisors. It's very hard to make the case for higher stock prices when you're staring down the gun barrel of a hike in interest rates by the Fed. So we've got some issues that we're concerned about, and if you're concerned about this and you're concerned about the market cycles, whether or not you're in the right position right now, you really need to give us a call at 512-433-6492. We'll take a look at what you've got. We'll take a look at how your bags are packed, what you've got, whether we can declutter, simplify, and clarify, and help protect you from some of these market cycles that could be very impactful for you. We want to make sure that you're aware of the difference between market sequence of returns and average returns. Again, market sequence of returns are very different than average of returns when we're talking about what money you can actually spend in retirement, how much wealth you're going to pass on to your heirs according to your goals. So again, you can visit us at our seminars we're doing that we do throughout the year. We do a Social Security seminar that you can come to, or you can call us at the office and schedule an appointment to visit.
We actually have this month, June the 23rd and the 25th at Steiner Ranch. You can call to register at 800-769-1614 or go to our website at fortwm.com. Go to the events tab, and it'll prompt you to register there as well.
We want you all to make the most of your retirement, your life, have the least amount of stress, most clarity, and achieve your goals better. That's my job as a planner. That's my promise to you, is to have your interest ahead of mine. I have that fiduciary responsibility to you and my clients. I want you to achieve your goals, and by doing so, we all win. It's a win-win proposition. It's great for our community and our country overall. So I hope that you take advantage of some of those things. And again, if you would like to visit with Sue Crum, you can send her an email at sue@suecrum.com. We want to thank Sue Crum for coming on the show today and providing us some words of wisdom as far as decluttering your life and simplifying your affairs, because I know when I work with clients that are in better position, with clarity, it's much easier to produce well-laid plans. Next week, helping consumers retire is a passion for Tom Hegna. So far, years of traveling the country, training financial advisors, and helping baby boomers retire effectively. Tom will be here on the show to discuss his book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy. This is a rare opportunity to learn what financial advisors have known for years about taking control of your retirement planning. Stay tuned as Tom reveals innovative retirement planning concepts like hybrid retirement, Social Security maximization, planning for long-term care, secure guaranteed lifetime income, and more. That'll be right here on the Retirement Journey next Saturday, 12:30 to 1:30. And again, thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing our show with your friends, liking us on Facebook. I'm Justin. This is Retirement Journey, Talk 1370.